Welcome to this teaching and demonstration video for Clair de Lune by Claude Debussy. This beautiful simplified arrangement is by Allan Small. Unfortunately, I don't have the book that it was originally from, but I had the foresight back then to scan the music into my computer, and so I still have it in my library. I've made a few notes here of things that I want to point out as I go through the piece, so let's dive in. The very first thing is simple. It's just a combination of E and G. We hear those two notes first, both in the left hand and the right hand. And along the way, we get that same combination of notes at other important points in the piece. For example, at the top of page 2, after this low C, we have E and G, E and G, E and G. Just before the last few measures with those beautiful arpeggiations, we also get this. There it is, E and G. Now here are the last three measures. Last two notes played by the left hand are again E and G. And not only are those two notes in particular very important throughout the piece, but the idea of thirds is also very important. We have a lot of thirds throughout, both in the left hand and the right hand. So watch for that. Knowing it makes learning the piece easier. Now we'll talk about shifting the thumbs in the beginning. In the first two lines of music, which is really the first section of the piece in my opinion, we have to shift both the left hand thumb and the right hand thumb. So watch as I do that. The first two lines of music. Again, the thumbs are shifting more in the right hand than the left hand, but that is something to watch out for. The next item on our list has to do with this idea of drifting down, like moonbeams drifting down to the earth. All through the first page, everything is gradually moving to the left on the keyboard, going down and down. Let's hear the entire first page. Moving down. Ultimately down to G and our low C at the top of page 2. Now for the next 9 measures, again at the top of page 2, I recommend practicing the left hand part with both hands like this. Instead of going both the lowest bass notes and the upper ones like this. And you get a better idea of the overall harmony, which is actually F major, C7, and A minor. It's an interesting progression. I like to practice that with both hands again, so I get a better sense of how the chords are voiced, how they are spread out and laid out. Then of course you can add the right hand to that. And then in the end, let me check my notes here. We have this idea of alternating hands, left and right, left and right. We also alternate between two different chords, C major and E minor. Here we have the chords in their most basic form. Of course, they are much more spread out in the piece itself. We have this and this. The voicing or the intervals are actually the same, and no matter which chord we're playing. So we have a fifth and a fourth in the left hand, a third and a fourth in the right hand. And those intervals remain the same when we move up to E minor. C, E minor, C. I do want to go back to the top of page 2 because the notation here is a bit strange. It also has to do with alternating hands, but because of the way they have notated these intervals on the two staffs with different clef changes, it's a bit tricky to read. Essentially, it's left, right, left, and both. And I say both because the right hand, of course, is playing our E and G combination, but the left hand also adds a B flat there at the same time. Let me do that again. Left, right, left, both, and right. It's not as hard as it looks. Remember, it's E, G, E, G, E, G. We heard all of page 1 essentially uninterrupted, and we heard most of page 2 uninterrupted, but this time let's hear the entire thing.